Now Inanimate Insanity is a show with mostly good characters. Most of the characters in the show can be good. So it was hard to pick 5 duds. So I basically just thought of the characters I liked the least. So yeah, I decided to include an honorable mention. There's one character that I didn't want to add to the list, but they are an honorable mention.
Honorable C note.
I think what makes Bot not in the top 5 and just an honorable mention was there was potential. Unlike the others, they're just meh. Just very forgettable. I would say the idea of Bot is interesting. It seems they practically gave up on Bot after Test Tube left. Besides making the floor calm down, nothing they do is interesting. Their design is cool. A butterfly. Similar to Saw. When the best thing I like is your design. Not a good sign. But Bot has a family. Test Tube and fan, and I think Bot's voice acting, more so after title TBD, fits them really well, and they did a great job with that. I honestly like how Test Tube accepts Bot after their new changes. That's it. But they didn't do anything like. Episode 11 and 13 are the most nothing for them. Episode 14 is the most they do, and it's when they leave the game. Thank goodness Bot didn't make it as far as into the final 3, or they would basically win the show since they have no real enemies and all that. And that have no reason to make it into the final 3. But hey, at least Bot got a plush. Something that is actually cool since Fan and Test Tube got plushies. So anyways, let's move on to number 5.
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Yin Yang would have not been on this list if it wasn't for the fact he just kept on getting immunity so many times and did literally nothing at all. Like he just either laughing evil or do nothing but be in the background. He's a lot like Julia from Total Drama and Leafy from BFDI, where they did mostly nothing and were so boring. Julia did stuff but it was all boring, and Leafy practically just killed everyone and got out, but Yin Yang took forever to get out. It was episode 15 he got out and people were mad he got out. He should have got out at least after the floor or paintbrush did. He just did nothing. It seems they wanted him out a lot earlier but couldn't cause of the immunity. I think episode 4 was when he was supposed to go. He's on the same boat with Bot, but Bot served a purpose with Test Tube and Cabby and all that. Yin Yang did nothing. He basically was fodder for a while. I thought him and Cabby would have went somewhere, but that literally went nowhere. And at best Yin Yang was a terrible character that could do more harm. And he's lucky he's number 5. I kind of saved him at the bottom cause, well, there's worse.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
Now Tissues, I understand he got out early, but like even on paper, he's kind of boring. He's basically the deserving of first boot. He didn't come back. He sounds like Marker, but considering Marker has a personality that isn't one note, they could try making Tissues a goofy person. I think quite Tissues just feels like nothing is, you can't do anything with him. Like them being similar to Soap could have been a great idea since Tissues sneezes a lot, but you can't do anything with Tissues besides be a one-trick pony. I'm sure Box has more going on for them than Tissues. Tissues fails to impress. I don't even think you can make Tissues anything than just a one-note character. Anyways, I will say that Cherries is better.
You should have died at birth.
Baseball is just kind of boring as well. He's like another someone I'll mention later, but what I hate most is he literally did nothing. Like once Nickel and Balloon leave, he's in the background and you can't argue that he did anything since he was emo in episode 12 and 13, and that's it. I think the reason they kept him in this far is just he's a fan favorite among the writers despite doing less than half the cast of season 3, which did tons more. I think he should have left instead of Paintbrush or Fan, and then Fan goes in episode 14. Cause I can't think of a reason he stayed. Over Fan, Test Tube, Microphone or even Paintbrush. He's barely liked compared to the others. Like Microphone and Box got more votes than him. How is that possible? Box is nothing, and also Bo got more votes than him. Bo, who was dead for like the entire show, compared to Baseball, who wasn't dead at all. And rarely died if you think about it, but he did nothing with the painting. Nothing with the rescuing Fan and all that. He's basically a dud.
You got the dud!
Hey! What? You You think I'm a robot?
Blueberry is the definition of pointless. He did nothing in episode 1, basically did nothing in the first rejoin, did nothing in the second rejoin but plot twist. He pretended to do nothing when everyone thought he died and he got immunity and that's it. He did nothing but gloat in episode 16 and then gets eliminated. It's like Eva coming back just to leave again. I don't see why he needed to leave or anything. He literally just joined to get eliminated the next episode after. Like, what was the point of him rejoin? It was either him people wanted to rejoin or test tube, and test tube sort of ran her course. And I feel like it would be pointless since Bot left as well. And plus Fan is long gone, so neither were a choice, but they could have had Tea Kettle rejoin. Gave her a motherly role between Balloon and Nickel or Life Ring. Or even Candle. But now we got the least interesting character to rejoin. Blueberry is a nothing character. At least Bot could have had potential. And at least Bot basically lasted longer than one episode, so there's that. Blueberry just existed. He did nothing. I'm sure he rejoined just so none of the final 4 had to go this early. I mean, they must have knew they could do more with Nickel and the only 3, so there's that. Now number 1, a character so terrible. So awful that they make me mad, and no, it isn't Box. Box is such an easy choice. Now I know nobody was surprised was number 1, but I couldn't just make number 1 be Box. Box actually is such an easy target. I just made it my job to not include him. He shouldn't count. That being said, he's still better than whatever Suitcase is now. Suitcase has been very boring, and I think she's a writer's pet, cause she did literally nothing after Balloon and Nickel went. I'm sure the writers just have a bias for her. She shouldn't win, since for one, that would be unfair, and number, her being the only newbie isn't a fair excuse. I think what makes newbies like Clover, Silver Spoon and others work would be they work without arcs. Suitcase almost did, but they never attempted to. I guess these helications, but that's it. If she goes next, that would be the first W in II2 in a while. Cause she's does nothing at all since they left in number, standing up for someone, basically saying fans' favorite show was blah blah blah. She's so nothing. I'm sure every minor character like Tyler, what's his name, and that stupid statue from the new episode have more personality. How do characters that appear once feel more fleshed? She doesn't even get mentioned in season 3, not counting episode 14. By Ballin or Nickel. I could be wrong, but she's is that awful.